Hello and good morning, everyone. Hello. Hello. I haven't even taken a bite of my breakfast sandwich, so don't mind if I do with that. While I'm doing that, let me just show you something real quick. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all, this might do it. Y'all, this might actually do it. Oh my goodness. That, in addition to part of this like Laura Ingraham interview, wow. I mean, just wow. So, we're going to be getting to a lot of stuff today. Again, I won't be live for too long. Another case of over-preparing the amount of material for the amount of time that I'm going to have. But, oh my goodness gracious. Okay? Just wow. Like, this is just, okay. So, I just want to point out a couple things here. I'm going to be absorbing this at the same time as you. I just learned about this right before going live. Literally, I took the screenshots at 9:14. That's like what, 13 minutes ago? Yeah. So I just learned about this. Though, I'm also, I spent a lot of time preparing this morning to actually talk about something else entirely. But I saw this right before I went live, and oh my goodness gracious. So we're going to be getting to that. In addition, I just want to point out that our president literally also just said that, that the United States lacks talented people. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, this is not a good day. This is not a good day for Trump. Oh my God. It's going to get nasty. It is going to get nasty and filthy. Like, ooh. So we have a lot of news to get to today. Let's see who's here. The Effulgent One, hello, good morning. Ginger Monster, hello. Cherie, you're here, hello. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, so we're gonna be breaking down a lot of different things today. Should I start with the Laura Ingraham story about how Trump literally said, this is the exchange here. You know, Ingraham was like, we have plenty of talented people here in the country. And then Trump says, no, you don't. Trust me, let me get into that clip. But then also, should I start with that or start with the Epstein stuff? Please make sure to vote below. Please make sure to vote below. He called the polls fake and actually believes his policies are successful and popular. Lol. Yeah, I was listening to that interview this morning, just like the full thing all the way through, and oh my God, I just couldn't listen to it. It was just crazy. Should I start with Epstein or should I start with Ingraham? Make sure to vote below in the poll. There's no official poll, but just comment below what we should start with. I'm seeing 1 vote for Epstein, 2 votes for Epstein. I am going to be processing this at the same time as you all. So I see 2 votes for Epstein. I see 1 vote for Ingraham. We'll get to both of them. I'm seeing 3 votes for Epstein. Let's just go with that one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so this broke just as I was going live. I plan to talk about something else entirely regarding the interview between Trump and Laura Ingraham. That being said, this is just crazy. Breaking, shocking new emails show that Jeffrey Epstein was actually telling Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump and an alleged victim spent hours, quote, at my house, says Jeffrey Epstein. Wow. LOL, I'm gonna save for last, girly. I get that. Oh my goodness gracious. Make sure to send some likes here. Let's dive into this craziness together. A shocking, newly revealed email exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell shows Epstein referring to President Donald Trump as the, quote, dog that hasn't barked, and talking about how an alleged victim, quote, spent hours at my house with him. The email was one of several released Wednesday morning by the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. In a typo-laden message dated April 2nd, 2011, Epstein wrote the following. To Ghislaine Maxwell from Jeffrey Epstein, I want you to realize that the dog hasn't barked, that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, which is blurred out for privacy reasons, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. I don't understand what some of that means. To Jeffrey Epstein from Ghislaine Maxwell, I have been thinking about that. So I'll show you the screenshots here in a second. I actually have the official screenshots they released. The emails seem to paint a different portrait of the Trump-Epstein relationship than the one that Maxwell painted in a July 24th, 2025 prison interview, during which she told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, quote, I don't think that they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in any of, or I don't recall ever seeing him in Epstein's house, for instance. Well, we have screenshots that literally show the opposite. So we need to dive into whatever this is here. Several emails between Epstein and author Michael Wolff were also released on Wednesday. In one 2019 note, Epstein wrote, quote, to Michael Wolff from Jeffrey Epstein, victim, Mar-a-Lago identifier, Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. There was also a 2015 exchange in which Wolff alerted Epstein that CNN was going to ask Trump about his relationship with the disgraced financier. Michael Wolff went on to suggest that Epstein could potentially, quote, hang Trump or possibly gain, quote, political currency if Trump denied traveling on Epstein's plane or visiting his house. Here's how that exchange played out. I will be showing you the screenshots here in a second. To Jeffrey Epstein from Michael Wolff, date December 15th, 2015. Quote, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in scrum afterwards. To Michael Wolff from Jeffrey Epstein, quote, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? And then to Jeffrey Epstein from Michael Wolff says, quote, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. Wow. Okay, this is just wow. These new emails were released by the House Oversight Democrats, come from a batch of more than 23,000 documents the committee recently received from the Epstein estate. Representative Robert Garcia, the ranking Democrat on the committee, said the emails raise, quote, glaring questions. Quote, the more that Donald Trump tries to cover up for the Epstein files, the more we uncover, Garcia said in a press release. These latest emails and correspondence raise glaring questions about what else the White House is hiding and the nature of the relationship between Epstein and the president. The Department of Justice must fully release the Epstein files to the public immediately. The Oversight Committee will continue pushing for answers and will not stop until we get justice for the victims. That's a lot. Now, of course, the president has repeatedly tried to write off the Epstein investigation as a dead issue or claiming it's a Democratic hoax. I could go into all the craziness about the Epstein files. But I also just wanted to give you the organic released screenshots here. So I know this is small print. I know this is small print, but this is from Ghislaine Maxwell, GMax, as you can see there, to Jeffrey Epstein. And I have been, the original message was from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, which is blurred out for privacy reasons, spent hours at my house with him. And then you have Ghislaine Maxwell responding to Jeffrey Epstein says, yes, I've been thinking about that. And like this, all words. This goes against what Ghislaine Maxwell actually previously said. Where like, in Jeffrey Epstein here, you can see where it's like the victim's name, Mar-a-Lago, then partly an identifier. Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. And this transcript between Michael Wolff and Jeffrey Epstein is a huge... It is wild here. So, this is what Michael Wolff says to Jeffrey Epstein. I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And then Jeffrey Epstein responds, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? Then Michael Wolff says, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. If it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it's possible that, when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. Wow. What are y'all's reactions to this? Because I'm learning this in real time. This just broke right before I went live. I was planning on talking about something else entirely. Then this broke and I'm like, here's the thing. Here's my analysis. You don't have to agree with me on this. I think it's pretty damning for Jeffrey Epstein, these email exchanges, to be showing that Trump spent a while at Jeffrey Epstein's estate with a victim. Now, of course, we need to verify, we need to double check, we need to make sure that all of this is authentic. I don't see why it wouldn't be, because this was released by the official House oversight, or the official committee investigating it through Congress. Though skepticism is always warranted in regards to just making sure that everything is authentic. That all being said, the email exchanges are right there. Further scrutiny and further questions need to be asked about this. Also, there is so much, and there's an insurmountable amount of evidence already how Donald Trump was complicit in covering up for his buddy Jeffrey Epstein. Also sending Ghislaine Maxwell, a known sex trafficker, to a prison that is much more of a cushy country club type prison, in exchange for her giving being favorable on the record. That's already corruption in a sense there. Also, you cannot tell me that a man who jokes about grabbing women by the PUSSY is not going to fall for, or is not going to be involved in this kind of crap, if that's his just crass humor. And see, this is the thing. Democrats, and I'm saying this as a progressive Democrat, we want everyone to be held accountable and everyone to play by the same set of rules, regardless of whether they're Andrew Cuomo or not. Democrats, we showed, no, we do not want Cuomo. Cuomo is crap. That's why they voted in Zoran Mamdani. They're like, we don't want a serial sexual assaulter, and we also don't want crappy policies. So New Yorkers were like, out with him. Andrew Cuomo, in a sense, is a lot like Trump. He would just go around and do unspeakable things to women. And so, like, all that being said, looking at this, I just think it's further evidence how Donald Trump is complicit within everything regarding Epstein. What do you all think? Let me read out some comments here. Where does this information come from? It was released, it was actually released earlier this morning. Trumpstein, that's funny. I'm from the UK, I love your channel. Aww. That's awesome. Thank you. But all this being said, that is just crazy. It's all over the internet. 45 is disgusting in every way. This doesn't surprise me. Yeah. We'll be hearing more about all of this going forward. But for the people who are, like, licking Trump's boots in a way, why? Like, genuine question, why are you trying to preserve this man's feelings? Like, genuinely. Let me get to the main thing I was actually preparing to talk about today. And the reason why I'm now immediately shifting is because for anyone that is looking at everything with Jeffrey Epstein and you're like, your immediate knee gut reaction is to defend Trump, or because you're one of these MAGA people that's like, oh, I have to cover for Trump, I'm Team Red, I'm always gonna be Team Red. Why? He doesn't fucking care about you. It's okay to admit that liberals and progressives were right. He is a con man. Let me break this down here. In an interview between him and Laura Ingraham, there was a question asked about work visas for people that are on H-1B visas, okay? And this is how the exchange went. Trump tells Laura Ingraham that the United States lacks talented people in discussion on work visas. No, this is not some sort of fabricated headline. Let me give you the rundown here. President Donald Trump told Fox News' Laura Ingraham the United States needs to bring in foreign workers because it lacks talented people in certain areas. Now, this was during an interview with Laura Ingraham over on Fox News. And this is something that Ingraham responded, said, I mean, the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration because if you want to raise wages for the American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers, you know? And then, no, wait, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. And then Trump goes, well, I agree, but you also have to bring in talent when a country, and then Ingraham actually interrupts him and says, well, you have plenty of talented people here. Trump immediately shoots back and says, no, you don't. I watched this interview and I was like, I hope that you're offended looking at that. As a born American, like, I'm looking at that and our president saying that we don't have talented people in the United States to fix problems. Like, that's not to say that we can't bring people, and this is my personal view, that's not to say that we can't bring people from other countries to then share their talents or their expertise. Personally, I think H-1B visas are valuable. You know, I think it's good to bring in people with some expertise. But for when Trump says that basically we don't have talented people in America, I hope that you're insulted. I hope that you're insulted. If you're one of these MAGA people, that's like, yeah, that's what I voted for. You voted for him to literally, like, piss on your leg and then try to tell you it's raining? Look, this is what Democrats, progressives, however you want to call it, This is what we've been saying all along. Trump is a con man. He only cares about himself. He doesn't care about you. He uses you in order to buy 47 shirts and 15 flags and 16 signs and 2 pairs of weird Trump socks and a Trump cologne and a Trump Bible. He uses you as cogs in a machine for his own benefit. It's okay to admit that you were a part of a cult and that you were duped by a guy who does admittedly have a funny sense of humor, but is a complete con man. I was raised a MAGA Christian. I'm telling you, it's okay. Get out of the cult now. Have some respect for yourself. So, looking at all of this, Trump literally telling people that American workers do not have the skill set. Trump tells Laura Ingraham that the United States lacks talented people. Again, I'm not making up this exchange. This is how it literally goes down. When asked about allowing foreign workers to come in and share their expertise, this is how the exchange goes down. Laura Ingraham says, H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with hundreds of thousands of foreign workers, Ingraham then told the president. The president says, well, I agree, but you do also have to bring in talent when a country, and then Ingram's like, well, we have plenty of talented people here. Trump goes, no, you don't. No, you don't. And then Ingram's like, we don't have talented people here? Let me continue on with the exchange because, wow. No, you don't have certain talents and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you in a factory where you're gonna make missiles. And then Ingram's like, well, how did we do it before? Trump then argued while acknowledging that they were not going to agree on the matter. Trump goes and says this, okay? I'm actually going to get out the hands because it's even better with the hands, all right? Ooh, that was a coffee burp. Y'all make sure to send some likes if you are enjoying the stream, okay? Let me give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries, it's very complicated. It's not an easy thing, very dangerous. A lot of explosions. A lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how I do it. Teach people how I do it. Well, they wanted to get out, then you're gonna kind of need that, Laura. You're gonna kind of need that. And it was, wow. Just looking at that, I get where Trump is coming from. This is gonna be a rare thing. I get where Trump is coming from. To me, in my opinion here, having H-1B visas is valuable. You do want to bring in people from other countries, perhaps to then share their expertise, share their work. If you just give a man a fish, then you have a fish. But if you teach a man to fish, then you can feed him for a while, So having H-1B visas of people from other countries is valuable. Now, you don't want it to be like a replacement thing. You don't want them to then be replacing or taking up space for people. You want it to be a training. You want it to be a temporary thing. I think that's the spirit of it. But the way that Trump handles this question really just shows you how what a fucking moron he is. Because, listen, he says, well, I agree, but you do have to bring in talent. You do have to bring in talent to a country. And then Ingram's like, well, we have plenty of talented people here. And then Trump goes, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have talented people. No, you don't. And then Ingram's like, we don't have talented people here. And Trump then responds, no, You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. I mean, just wow. Just wow. Now, what's so funny is, let me read out some people's comments here, okay? The right wing is absolutely, like, their mind is blowing up over this. And look, when you support a clown, the circus is going to come around. So when you support a con man, you're going to get ripped off. You support a guy who doesn't give a shit about you, you're not going to get policies that are helpful to you. And so, let me read off some comments from far right people on Twitter or X. And again, this has 5.1 million views. Like, that's a lot. That's wild. We have plenty of talent. No, she says, we have plenty of talented people here. No, you don't. No, you don't. This person says, I'm sorry, but what the fuck is this? American talent split the atom and went to the moon. American talent built everything the modern world it takes for granted now. Give me a break. This is insanity. Okay, pause. I do want to point out, American talent. You do realize that American talent did not necessarily split the atom. America brought over a lot of scientists from places like Germany or Austria, people fleeing fascism in Nazi Germany, to then come over here, use their expertise to help out with our nuclear program. And I'll show that later on. It's a small thing I just want to point out. While, yes, there was some American, of course, talent in there. I'm saying this as a, North Carolina born and raised guy. I also just want to point out that talent was also brought over. So, like, just the idea that this person was like, oh, we split the atom. Actually, like, it was a lot of other people coming over from other places to then help facilitate those programs. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. Then you had this one person that immediately makes it about him or Republicans being like, this is insane. We're going to lose the midterms so badly. We've never seen an administration crash and burn in its first year so badly for no reason other than to appease donors and special interests. Trump has surrounded himself with the worst people. Trump is the worst people. He is a horrible guy. You really thought a billionaire gave a shit about working class people? You really think that Trump, who still hasn't even paid certain people, you really think that he was going to live up to his word? You said Trump has surrounded himself with the worst people. Yeah, because he himself also attracts the worst people. A con man is going to attract other con men, other con women. So, like, I'm sorry, you vote for a leopard wanting to eat your face might get eaten. Trump broke everyone's heart with this line about the American workforce and H-1B visas. Broke your heart. He broke your heart with it. This is a guy who literally shits on people in an AI video. This person says, Trump hates America and Americans. This is the only explanation I can come up with for this pattern of behavior. He wants to import the third world to take Americans' jobs. Now, I would say pause. I don't think that allowing a certain number of people to come over and share their expertise and teach Americans how to do certain things is somehow like taking jobs away. I think it's a valuable thing for us to share our gifts, and then other people receive that. Like, Let's not get racist with it. Let's not go there. We don't need to. What's important to also point out is just how Trump literally just immediately was like, Americans are not smart. Americans are not talented. This is what you voted for, MAGA. This is what you get when you elect someone like Trump. Let me give you some other people's reactions here. And I'm going to have to go here in about 2 minutes. Someone said invasion of the body snatchers. Trump was always like this. This has been a rough week for Trump. He is defending H-1B visas by saying we need them because not all Americans can make missiles. This person said, unpopular take. Why would we want foreigners making our missiles? Well, and see, here's the thing. I think some of these Trump people don't understand. H-1B visas are not supposed to be like temporary replacement. H-1B visas are meant to be like, this is where you can work and like share your gifts or share your expertise. It's not like a permanent displacement. This person said, can't remember when Fox News interview of Trump was that adversarial. And completely tone deaf. This is an utter betrayal of the entire base who voted for America First. All of that being said, I'm not going to pretend like I speak on behalf of America First. But like, it really does show how this person says, yeah, this is completely pathetic. This week was an all-time low point, completely out of touch. Trump has been out of touch forever. Trump has been out of touch forever. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. He thinks that Americans are dumb. And look, if you follow him, if you follow Trump, then yeah, you probably are a little bit. He even said, quote, smart people don't like me. Yeah. So get smart. Grow your own agency. Grow your own intelligence here. Because, like, if smart people don't like him, then he likes to control dumb people. Think critically for yourself. If you're looking at this, imagine if Joe Biden, pause. This is the thing I'm going to leave you with. Imagine if Joe Biden was the one that said this. Was the one that said we need to bring over H-1B visas. Or we need to bring over people with H-1B visas. And then someone shot back, an interviewer said, oh yeah, no, like, you know, we have plenty of talented people here. And Joe Biden were to have then said, no, you don't. The right would literally be outraged. Or the right would be outraged for the longest amount of time. And look, they would be right to do so. Put the shoe on the other foot. Guess what? Joe Biden was the one that said it. It was Trump. So are you going to change the application of your beliefs based on convenience? I sure hope not. I sure hope that you and I are looking at the same set of information and being like, yeah, that's a crappy thing to say. And again, this shows how Donald Trump does not give a shit about you. Doesn't care about you at all. How about I'm not going to pretend to speak on America First because I'm not a conservative MAGA Republican. God, no. Though, you know what I think would be more America First is if we were to not allow $40 billion to be sent to Argentina, and instead we could actually use that money to then help working class people. We could use that to expand some SNAP benefits for low-income people. We could use that to actually help with Affordable Care Act subsidies for low-income people. We could use that and pour that money into work programs that help homeless people actually get work authorization, not just fund a homeless shelter, but actually give them the means to be able to pull themselves up. To me, that would be, I don't pretend like I am that America First crap. It's all just branded crap anyway. But like, that would help Americans here at home. Or help Palestinians. Yeah, how about instead of us giving endless amounts of money to Israel to build bombs to then kill innocent Palestinian people, we could actually fund some aid for them. Just saying. So, anyway. I'm just pointing it out there. Trump is an idiot because he literally thinks that America lacks talented people. So, anyway, is this like the only non-stupid Democrat left in existence? What the hell is this guy? I'm a progressive. I'm a Zoran Mamdani kind of person. This is the thing. Maybe I got through to one person here. We, as progressives, want benefits to the American people. You're just so focused on trying to demonize and be so angry towards us all the time that you don't see it. Anyway, I have to get to work. I love all of you. I appreciate every single one of you, even if you don't like me. So someone said, ew, this dude is super gay. Oh, you're welcome. Anyway, I have to get going. I appreciate every single one of you. Shout out to my amazing moderators in here, keeping the space moderated. Y'all are awesome. Just remember that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are valid, you are strong, and you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever, 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 ever dim your shine. I love you all so